So imagine being 5 years old and hearing your mother say she's going to send you back. You don't even know what that means until she tells you that you're adopted. From that moment on, one little girl's world changed forever. This is the story of a woman who spent a lifetime searching for the truth and finally found it. Hello, my name's Laura Olmsted. I'm the founder and executive director of DNAngels, and we have clients that send us in their stories, clients and viewers. So if you would like us to tell your story, please email us at stories@dnaangels.org, and one of our content creators will be more than happy to share your story with our audience. So this is Carla's story. And this is written by Carla in her own words. She says, "The story of me. I was about 5 years old when I managed to make my mom really mad. I spilled her coffee. She was a big fan of coffee. My mom yelled at me, 'I'm going to send you back.' What does that mean?" She went on to tell me that I was adopted and that she was going to send me back. I remember running to my room and hiding under the bed with my Winnie the Pooh stuffy. I don't know how long I was under there, but when I came out, my world was very different. My parents didn't send me back, but my existence was forever in question. I knew I didn't belong to them or to anyone else. This is not to cast blame on my mom. She was a really good mom, but to explain how and why I learned the first bit of my truth. Time went by, and the older I got, the more questions I had. No one would give me real answers. My brother was adopted too. My parents had no kids of their own. I was adopted on March 17th, 1964. Hey, a fact, something to go on. But I wanted to know who and where I came from. My mom's dad, Papa to me, was my hero. I followed him around like a puppy every chance I got. He taught me stuff. He told me stories about Ireland and used words like brogues, brogans, and the board. These stories and phrases resonated with my soul. I dreamed about a city and really green fields. I knew inside that I had been there sometime in the past. Years passed, and then I got the internet for me and my kids. The first search I did was for pictures of Ireland. A picture came up that was of a green field and a city in the distance. I almost fell off my chair. It was the place I had been having dreams about for 30 years. It was Galway, Ireland. More years passed. My mom's brother and I were close. I guess he was the first person I adopted to be in my made-up family. One day he called me and asked me to come visit on my next day off from work. He wanted to tell me what he knew about me, and he had a box of stuff for me. I made plans to go see him on Friday after I got off work for my midnight shift. Thursday night, he had a massive heart attack and passed away just an hour or two before I got there on Friday morning. I was driving when he died. There were no cell phones at the time. Damn, I still miss him. He laughed with me, not at me. And he took me out to pizza or burritos or to the movies. And he didn't scold at me when he saw me. I think he might have even loved me. A few more years passed and my body started failing. I was trying to raise my kids alone. I worked too many jobs and too many hours with too much stress. One of my kids had mental health issues too. I had health issues. The bills were just insane, yet I managed. Until one Sunday morning when I didn't manage. I had died during the night between one work shift and the next. It was truly amazing being on the other side. My mom and I had a conversation during which she said, "This is when you let your soul fly free." I woke up 9 days later in ICU in the hospital where I worked, but my mom's words stuck and I vowed to get my answers so I could fly free. I was disabled after that, and disability doesn't pay enough for many luxuries. At that time, DNA tests were really expensive. Ancestry hadn't been around long. I had to let time pass again. I finally bought myself an Ancestry DNA kit in May of 2024. Happy Mother's Day to me. At that time, I had 4 people on the planet to whom I was a DNA relative. I took the test and got the results and watched a million YouTube videos about how to do genealogy. I looked at my matches and my origins. Hey, check it out. I'm part Irish. I actually had a good hunk of Irish in me from Galway to Dublin and south to Cork. Yay. I also had about 50,000 DNA matches. I looked at those matches and I tried to find a starting place, but my closest match had no tree. Some had a tree with only themselves in it. I finally found a parent 1 woman with a real tree. I could use her to start to find me. Just a note, all those beginner guides say start with your parents and someone you know. Well, for many of us, there is no one. So this lady with the tree, I followed who she said were her parents and her grandparents, and then picked another parent 1 person and did the same thing. Eventually, I got people coming together. I persisted, documented, and compared them to each other. I wrote to the county clerk's office in my hometown to figure out how to get my adoption records. I called, I wrote again. Eventually, I got to the office of the district court judge and was told how to do it. I wrote the judge, and in a few weeks, I got an email with my adoption records. There were 11 pages of blah, 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 blah about March 17th, 1964. The records told of how I had been brought to the court due to neglect and abuse. My parents' rights were taken away, and I was given to my adopted parents to live with them. The waiting period of 6 months was waived, and off I went at 2.5 months to my life. The adoption was finalized on May 8th, 1964. I was given a name and my birthday. Not much real information, except I had a name. I was born baby girl Wertz, W-E-R-T-Z. I started reading every word of my match's records, their family records, and when I found someone's great-grandfather, I would read all the stuff about all of his relatives. I was looking for the word Wertz. One day I was reading the obituary of the husband of a lady from the Addams family. Yes, I hear the song every time I say those words. That couple had a daughter whose married name was Wertz, and I went a little crazy. I didn't think I slept it off for a couple of days. I started going through all the relatives until I found several matches, including the grandson of this Wertz lady's sister. I could prove my mother through her sister's grandson being my first cousin once removed. Yay, I found my bio mom. I took all the lessons learned from figuring out bio mom to try to find bio dad. I did all the stuff. I subscribed to Pro Tools to see matches. I did all the stuff. It eventually came down to 2 brothers from a family of a bunch of kids, but I couldn't go any further. I went back to YouTube for ideas on how to figure it out. No new clues or ideas or strategies were forthcoming. I had done everything. I am very independent and stubborn too, come to think of it. I never ask for help if it can be avoided. I never expect help from anyone. But this time, I knew I couldn't figure this out on my own. I was watching YouTube one day and a DNAngels story popped up. I watched it and I thought, well, all they can do is say no. So I called the number on the website and the heavens opened up and the angels came down from the YouTube cloud. That really got me. I thought that was hilarious. I was blessed with Tess and Shannon to help me. Excellent team of angels. I told them my story and they set to work trying to figure this out. I sat at my computer and waited for them to ask any questions or need me to do something. We signed me up for a couple of other free websites. They did what they do so well. After a few days, the answer was not, "This is your father." But they did confirm the work that I had already done was correct. They said I needed the offspring of the two brothers to test. Tess helped me write the letters. She gave me some hints, an address, and like a rock to lean on, she gave me support. I wrote the letters in hopes someone would take pity on me and do a DNA test. I bought the daughter of one of the two brothers an Ancestry kit, paid for expedited shipping and processing, and it was to her house in November. I was hoping the results would be back to me by late December or early January to tell me if she was my cousin or my half sister, and nothing. So I contacted her in January, and she said she didn't get the results yet. Same thing in February. In March, she said she would have her husband look when he got home later, and then nothing. I still didn't have her as a match of any type. I started calling Ancestry and got the runaround several times. By August, I called them mad. Yes, after all the money I'd spent with them, I was angry. I asked for Krista Cowan or her supervisor and told the supervisor the story. Sorry, Krista. She got all the information, looked up my purchase, looked up the maybe sister's info, and told me the kit was sent. It was returned, it was processed, and reported out all within the expected payment schedule. She couldn't give me the results of the lady's test, but she could look at my test and compare it to the lady's test, just in case a mistake somewhere was made. I was not a match at all to this woman, who should be my half-sister or first cousin. This ended my chances of getting a definitive identification of my father. Sigh. Must stop right there for a minute. It is not uncommon for us to send out a target test to someone who should be our cousin or our half-sibling, and they're not a match at all. Tell me in the comments why they wouldn't be a match. Doesn't mean that our results are wrong. I'm going to finish the story. It's almost done. Recently, I tried to get an unofficial copy of my original birth certificate from the state of Texas. The process is to download a form, fill it out, send it back along with money, identification, and any supporting records. In the parents section of the instructions say birth parents. I used my birth mother's name and left the father blank. Dear old bio mom was between husbands, so she named me after her first husband, and she named the next sister, my sister, after her next husband, who she wasn't married to yet, and listed her father as DEC on the birth certificate. I was unsure if I should use Wertz from husband number 1, DEC from kid number 4, or husband number 2, when my bio dad is none of those people. I got a letter back saying I got it wrong, but it didn't say what I got wrong. At this point, I kind of lost all ability to deal with this. I know that I know who my birth mother is, but after a night of tossing and turning and dozing off just to hear, "You don't really exist, and I will send you back, and you're fat and ugly and stupid and useless," and all those other things from growing up not wanted, I gave up and messaged Tess to see if she could do my bio mom to confirm I got her right. Tess, being very kind, told me how to get the process restarted. Tess and Christine got to work, and by the next afternoon, they had confirmed my work and who my bio mother was. They found a few new news articles that I hadn't found, and they couldn't find anything about when I was actually born. Things like birth announcements or whatever. They even found a niece I hadn't found. They are awesome people. Yes, they are. For me, this is the end of the journey. I can't and won't resubscribe to Ancestry as it's too expensive, but they assure me that the tree stays there. If my granddaughters ever get the idea to know who Mima was, they can access that tree. There are 21,000 people in my public tree. I have researched them to my best ability, and any mistakes were made unintentionally. I have tried to correct my early mistakes along the way, but with all trees, take mine with a grain of salt and do your own research. The morals of the story is if you want to know your truth, start looking now. People get old, memories fade, documents get lost. Time marches on and laws change. Just don't wait. Don't expect all the answers. There are just some things in life that don't get documented or aren't public record. I'm pretty sure that I was the result of an encounter in the back of a truck stop somewhere between Michigan, Kansas, and Texas. Warfield truck stop, baby, here. Don't expect the people you find will care that you exist. You have thought about this for a while. They never knew or cared. You're in the right place to get help. You're in the right place to get help with this if you need it. DNA angels are wonderful from the first call to the last conclusion. They are the best. I will forever be grateful. Please donate to DNA Angels if you have a few extra dollars. The money is well spent. And yes, I donate when I can. So after decades of searching, she found not only her biological truth, but also peace and the angels who helped her get there. Her journey reminds us that every story matters and every truth deserves to be known. If you're still searching for your biological family or want to support the people who make the reunions possible, visit us at DNAangels.org today. Because your right to know your biological truth is more important than someone else's secrets. Until next time, friends, have a great day.